Hey everyone, we're back for another Seeds of Success. This episode is Say My Name, Say My Name. And I gotta say, one of the funnest things of writing these shows and getting them ready was coming up with these titles. So you're gonna hear some kind of wild titles here coming up in some of the future shows. But today's show is kind of just the importance of saying someone's name to them, remembering that when they come into your center. I know it makes me feel good when I walk in somewhere. You're even caught off guard sometimes when you're like, oh, wow, they've remembered my name. I didn't even know they knew me. So, Dottie,
Yeah,
how do you feel when somebody remembers your name? Does that make you kind of happy?
it does make me happy. It makes me feel special. It makes me feel like they actually know who I am. And when I walk into a business, we have a local business that as you leave, they always, wave and they tell you bye. And they make sure that when they take your order, they capture your name. So they always use your name when they're telling you goodbye. And that makes me feel like, oh my gosh, I meant enough to them for them to remember my name. We all love hearing our name. Makes us
Yeah.
feel special.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not even just a name, a drink order or a shoe size. I mean, people, it's crazy how excited somebody gets over something so simple. But I did that in the past where I'm like, and sometimes you might not even quite remember. You're kind of like, and that's a diet Pepsi you usually get, right? And they're like, yeah, you've remembered. Oh, cool. Or a shoe size, you know. And even if you throw out that shoe size and it's wrong, even though that still that still makes them happy because
Yeah.
you might be like, was it 9.5? They're like, oh, actually 10. And then they're like, oh, you're almost right. You know, so even if you
Yes.
were wrong, it makes them that you made effort to remember something that really makes the customer happy.
Yes. And, we are in an industry that makes it really easy for us to do this. I mean, for goodness sakes, the customer has their name up on the scoring monitor. If they're a member of your loyalty program, obviously a lot of their information is in there. But, to give that customer that feeling when they walk in, it makes them feel like they are um, wanted, like they're wanted there. They're important enough for someone to take the time to learn a little bit about who I am. And as you said, it doesn't necessarily have to be the name. We all love hearing our name, but it can be other things as well. A lot of times, customers will come in and they'll tell you, oh, we're celebrating my birthday today here, or we're, make, if you do have some sort of a database, make little notes in there on things that are important to the customers that they share with you, and then you can make sure that some of those things are brought up, the next time they come in. And a lot of times our employees do this naturally because they're used to seeing these customers on a routine basis, right? And they have these conversations. So encourage your staff to make sure that you are giving each customer that special attention to learn who they are. These customers, folks, are paying our paychecks. So take the time to know who they are and make them feel special.
Yeah, and some like kind of like what Dottie said. A tip I use is I just try to remember a customer like something I might have in common with them. Like if they're like, hey, did you watch the basketball game last night? And then I'm like, yeah, I watched, and then I remember, okay, this person likes basketball. The next time they come in, hey, have you been watching basketball lately or baseball? People give me a hard time. I'm here in Wisconsin now, and I'm a huge Dodgers fan though, and they remember that. So they'll throw it out as a joke every once in a while, like, yeah, I was watching baseball today, but sure glad those Dodgers lost. And then I laugh and they go, oh, I got your attention. And it works both ways. We're talking about, say my name, remember their name. Even as a customer, they're remembering things about me, and it makes me feel good. I'm not their customer, but it still makes me feel good that they remembered that I like baseball, that I like this, or I like that, or that
Yeah.
I get back from out of town sometimes. They're like, oh, how was your trip to New York? And I'm like, oh, like they've remembered. And that goes a long way both ways, but definitely as as a employee, it really is a good thing to remember your customers.
I have to tell you, Orly, there is a pizza place here that the first time it happened, it blew me away. But when you call to place an order, they answer the phone, "Hi, Dottie,"
Oh,
and then they say the name of the business because they have caller ID, right? Um,
okay.
and it's kind of cool, but it just gives you that special feeling to know that somebody took the time. I'm important to somebody. And I
Yeah.
can tell you, folks, you never know the customers that are coming into our facilities, you never know the true importance of something as simple as striking up a conversation about something that you know about them, be it that they were celebrating a birthday or that they had friends coming in from out of town, whatever that topic is, or just simply calling them by name.
Mhm.
We never know today, or really have never known, what place a customer is in.
Yeah.
And that simple little gesture, you have no idea the impact that that can have on someone.
Yeah.
That can certainly turn a day around and take someone that may be feeling pretty low and down in the dumps. It can turn their whole day around, realizing that they do matter. They are special.
Yeah, and I have a few examples of that. I've shared these all with you before, but you just never know. So on both sides of that, you never know who the people are you're talking to either. I had a customer come in one time, and I was just like, "Hey, how's it going?" And just being friendly as I am, I just like to talk to people. And one of them came back in a few months later and were like, "Hey, the first week you opened, they were like, you were so nice to us when we walked in. You made us feel at home." And they're like, and we were the best people that day that you could do that to. And I was kind of like, why were you the best people? She's like, well, I was here with my friend that writes for the newspaper, and she like raves about your place now and said how friendly
Yeah.
you were when you walked in. And we remember those things. And another quick
Yeah.
example of that is, you were saying you never know how somebody's day is. And I've definitely shared this story with you, but I used to work retail, a long time ago, and there was a girl, she was new, and she kind of just looked a little down, and I, simple as, hey, how's it going? How's your first day? She's like, oh, it's okay. And I talked a little bit, if you need any help, let me know. And I didn't really work directly with her, but I just, if you have questions, let me know.
Yeah.
About a year or two down the road, we became cool friends, really good friends. And she was like, did you know that first day, like I was almost ready to quit because I just felt like people were kind of rude to me and the other workers weren't really talking to me. And you were the first person that said hi to me and asked me if I needed help. And she was like, and that, like, I remember that till this day. And I'm like, and here I was just thinking a simple, hey, how's it going? If you need something, to me, it wasn't a big deal, but to that person, it was a
Yeah.
big deal. So you never
Yeah.
know, what someone's going through.
And that brings up another topic. This doesn't just apply to customers coming through the door. You should also do the same thing for your staff.
Yeah, for
Take
sure.
the time to find out a little bit about your staff. Find out, definitely you already know their name, so it's really easy for you to address things, but take the time to actually listen, or ask questions so that they know that you are interested in them as a person. They're not just another person coming in that works for you. They're a human being that very much appreciates conversation, and knowing that, if you're not in the habit of talking to your staff members and you do it for the first time, they might get kind of nervous, wondering, oh my gosh, why did they all of a sudden act like they were interested, so take the time, find out a little something about them. Again, that will change the way they serve your customers, because that's going to make your employee feel like they're special. Knowing just a couple of little things about them, what they're doing in school, what their hobbies are, it doesn't really matter what it is. Just the fact that you're taking time to learn a little bit about them, or show interest in them, or at least going out of your way sometimes to speak to them, and ask them how their day's going, or how did that last track meet go for you, or whatever the case
Yeah.
may be. Goes a long ways.
Yeah, I agree. And I think they like that when you take interest when it comes to employees. We have a lot of younger employees, and sometimes I'm like, hey, how was school? And they're like, oh, this happened, or I'm getting my license, and they're so excited, and just
Yeah.
to see that you show some care. Every once in a while I do have somebody, I'm not gonna say any names, but I'll say, how was school? Oh, I got in trouble for this today again, or I did this. And then I try to give some good
Uh-oh.
advice. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
look at the way you're doing that. You probably shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, you're right, so you could help them on all sides of it. So whether it's younger staff, older staff, anyone, someone could always listen to advice. They might not take it, but at least you could give some advice and hope to help them.
Yes, absolutely. And again, it creates that loyalty. It creates that feeling of I matter. And for a customer, it makes them want to come back. They
Yeah.
want to come back because they feel very welcome. They feel like they're special. And for your employee, most certainly, it makes them feel like, hey, I'm appreciated, especially if they do something and you make sure that, you let them know how much it was appreciated, and thank them. That goes a long ways. We all know that, working in the family entertainment business, bowling center business, it's a hard job. And sometimes it's a thankless job. Customers aren't always the nicest. But when you can make up for that by going out of your way to make the employee feel that they're important and they're special, that will come around, and that will help you in the long run. It's going to keep your employees with you a lot longer. So, well, Orly, this has been a really great topic. This is one that I'm very, very much a fan of. I feel like anytime that you can make the experience more personal, the better off you are. It's going to really help people continue to come to your center, want to come to your center. It's going to make your staff want to stay with you longer. And it's just a good feeling all around.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. So I think if you take this advice and you run with it, you do with what you want to do with it, but it's going to definitely, it might seem simple, but I think it can make a big success in what you do just by remembering people, making them feel good. It's going to make a difference.
Yes. And listeners, we encourage you, share these little seeds of success with your staff members. Encourage them to listen as they can. And again, as we do little seeds, we're also going to have other resources that will be available to you. So watch for those. And we absolutely love being able to be a part of your business and help you be as successful as possible through our Seeds of Success podcast.
Yeah, and feel free to share your success. If you use some of this advice, let us know. And it worked. We'd be excited to share about it. Maybe we could have a Seeds of Success stories or something. So I have we do have a link tree. So if you go to linktree.com/Beyond the Frame Live, you'll find all our links there, our email. So if you ever need to write us and ask any questions, or you just need anything, feel free to reach out to us there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, listeners. So we've given you the seed. It's up to you to nurture that seed and help take your center, your staff to the next level. We've thoroughly enjoyed being with you today, and be watching for next week's Seeds of Success.